So Wayward Words is a mod that we've created that will allow you to make these hidden caches in a map. And how it works is you can use an item frame to create a cache, and then anything that you put in it, once you close that cache, it'll be available for anyone to find who's also running the mod. So um, it will look at the blocks around the cache, whatever is kind of like immediately around it, and any other map where the blocks are basically the same and like a 5 by 5 like a box radius around it, it'll show up there. I can give you guys a demonstration now. Just kind of show you how it works. So we got Forge loaded with Wayward Words, and we're gonna pop into the server, see if everyone's still here.
So, um, to get started, what you'll do is you'll need a anvil and an item frame, and you'll want to name that item frame something. That's the kind of way that the mod detects that you're trying to use Wayward Words for this. So this will be Wayward Words Cache. So once you create the item frame, you can run around and after you log in, so there'll be www login, you have to actually download the mod. It can't just be server side when you're creating a cache, because we need to have like some sort of like user to associate it to. So I just logged into that. It opens up an OAuth page in their browser where you can log in. You can either make an account with us or you can log in with Twitch or Discord. We don't use any of your data. It's just to associate your caches to your player. That way, if you want to like download them or you want to ask us to delete them or something, it's a lot easier for us to do it on our end. So once you've logged in, you'll see in the chat that it says like you've logged in successfully. And then when you put the cache down, you'll see a little notification that like, oh, a new gateway placement was detected, and you can add stuff into it. So if I wanted to make a cache on this tree, what I would do is I would add stuff to the item frame, and once you rotate it 5 times, it'll lock it in. And so we added 4 gold nuggets to this tree. So this will be our hidden gold tree. And then you can close the cache, and it'll allow other people to try and find it. It'll submit it to the web. And this is a new feature that we just added recently. But if you're within close proximity to a cache, you'll see these kind of particle effects. So like if you're holding the feather, which you need to open them, you'll see that there's some particle effects. The yellow ones will be further away, and the red ones will be like very close to the cache. You can see mostly yellow ones, but there's the occasional red ones right around this block. So once you have a feather in your hand, you can right click it, and it'll say you've discovered a cache made by so and so. It actually uses some bits of an ID. Eventually, we're going to have it so you can specify the message that you want to show up when when somebody like opens the cache. Other things we've been working on as well is setting so that you can open a cache potentially multiple times, or you can put stuff back into a cache. Or if you want only one person ever to be able to find it instead of um, everybody. So that's the basic process. You have to create a named item frame, and then you can log in. If you visit the link that it shares in the chat, and that chat is only client side, so you'll have to download the mod client side, but nobody else can like see your code or the URL or anything in the chat. But once you log in, it'll ask you if you want to make an account. And once you log in, you'll be able to start making these caches. So we had one on tree there. We can make another one over here. Oh, that's awesome. So Once you've run around and you've made a bunch of different caches, you can go over here, we'll make one under this statue. I'll put some light blue concrete in there. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. You can make these themed or like kind of relate, like add additional hints or puzzles. One thing that we do have that you can do, we'll open that up, is you can add written books to the caches as well. So the original idea that we were starting with is it would be so cool to go to different Minecraft maps and even like generated villages and stuff, and you could add like kind of neat hints of what the villagers might have in their houses or just lying around. So this could be like, dear journal, today I found an angry Minecrafter. They took all the items in my chest. I will never forgive them. But I will still trade with them. And then this was sincerely villager. And this could be like journal entry. And then if we have like a village, if this was like a Minecraft village or something, what you could do, and even like in like custom maps and stuff, it'd be fun to do. You could go and you could put the, oh, we won't put that map in here. You could put the book in and it'll add it to the gateway. And when you open that, you'll get another copy of it. So if I just got rid of that, we'd see here is a copy of that. So it's a cool way to add bits of lore and story to all of the different environments you have. Like if you wanted to have a cool Easter egg in your house in like a SMP server, or you wanted to host your own scavenger hunt, what you could do is say like we did for the recent competition, you could do Nether Star or another relatively uncommon item. Let's see, what's obscure? We could even do like eggs, because those are like tough to get normally. We'll get a zombified piglin egg. You could say like, all right, in this scavenger hunt, on like 3 corners of the map, there are piglin eggs. So try and find each one. And then whoever does, you know, either like wins a prize or like gets to set up the next scavenger hunt or something. But the mod is free for anyone to use and download. And the caches can contain like any item you put in it. So if you want to run this on your server for other people, the only thing you might want to do is in the configurations that'll show up the first time you run it, you can specify what items you want to allow players to spawn. If you don't want people to just like make or be able to spawn like OP stuff, you could say like, oh, I only want like written books or like whatever our like chosen item for the scavenger hunt is. Or you could do something like specify the player UUIDs for who specifically will be allowed to like make each cache. Then it won't show everybody's caches from around the world. It'll just show the players you specify. So depending on how you want to curate your experience for your server, you can configure the mod accordingly. How do you close the item frame? So to close the item frame, you just break it. If you haven't added anything to the frame, it won't submit it. But if you had, what you'll see is that like it'll say gateway closed successfully. Others may be able to find your submission. And then if you have the item to open it, you can open your own caches once. Everyone can only open a cache once. You'll be able to like see it. And that's one way you can kind of confirm that it works properly. When you place a cache, anyone with the mod running can find it, right? No matter which server they're on. That's right. As long as the server settings allow those players to find it. So like it could be the case that like there is one server doing a specific scavenger hunt and they only want to find caches that have the nether stars in them because that's the like you don't want to have other caches potentially around to like confuse people. They would be able to hide it there, or they would be able to not see those. But if you're playing in single player, for instance, and you don't specify any filters for what items you can spawn or players whose caches you specifically want to see, then you'll see everything. So any cache from any player will be available to all other players. And yeah, the idea is we kind of want to make it like an open sort of community experience where players can continue to add and fill in content to enhance like the Minecraft worlds. So that's kind of like the long-term vision. We want it to be like this huge collaborative like experience. Let's see. Are the caches related to like coordinates and that's how they transfer between other worlds? It doesn't actually use the coordinates. How it works is I can kind of like make a little structure to illustrate how it works. The cache will look at all of the blocks around it in a radius. So it goes 2 blocks in each direction out from center. So if I were to make a cache like here, and I wanted to add an elytra to it, I'll close that. Let's see. So you would be able to see it here, but also if in another map or elsewhere in the map, you went ahead and you made the same structure or discovered the same structure in the case of like some pre-generated structures like a temple or a pyramid or something, you would also be able to see it spawn there. So if I did this right, we should be able to see that. I can find it here. Was it 2? Maybe it was 3 blocks wide. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. It might have been 3 blocks wide, in which case we can kind of test that. Make this kind of like cool little lapis structure here. So that should be basically that. So we're gonna try and finish the structure here, which will be mostly light blue concrete. And let's go ahead and add some stuff to it. We'll add some light blue concrete so that other players can continue to add to that thing. And then you can see here, we've got some sparkle effects because it's recognized this structure as being similar enough to this structure over here. So we'll go and I'll use the feather on it and you'll see that the concrete shows up there. Yeah, we haven't, like there's a couple other ideas we were working on for how to make the contextual matching between different worlds make sense, but this has worked pretty well for most basic cases. There are some cases where it gets a little confusing. So like, for instance, if we had a cache on top of a one tall pillar, like, or like on like one block floating in the ocean or something, that might be easier to do actually. Actually, I'm curious to see, let's do this. If we had a cache here, because the immediate area is just like, obviously like just sand, it'll match for a lot of other kind of like sandy areas. So I think if we go over here, we'll probably see that like, oh, you can still find it there. But like also if you put your cache just on sand, maybe that's what you were going for. Versus like if you wanted to have it like right on the beach and you wanted to have like a little fish that had washed up on the shore. It's like one idea. Depending on how the shore around it looks, it might not match every shoreline. but that's like one like potential limitation. Looks like something around here will match it. Nope. Yeah, so that shore was distinct enough that I think it's, oh, there we go. So we found a spot that was close enough to it over here to get that clownfish. Ultimate Frisbee just said this kind of similar enough locations could enable cross-game caches, which is kind of an even cooler like long-term goal that we're working on. Oh, someone made another cache with another star. That's cool. It would be really cool if somehow the caches we make in this game could be carried over to other games as well. So in some of our previous projects, we've done things like, oh, if you defeat a mob in Minecraft, it'll spawn that mob for another player in like Terraria. And you can create this sort of like cycle of like karmic rebirth or something. But in Minecraft, the reason why we started with books is because we really like the sort of like blood runes, like waystone things that you can make in Elden Ring and Dark Souls, where you can like leave a message for another player, and for people who have played Death Stranding, all of the kind of like social integrations there where you can like leave hints and clues for other players. One of our long-term goals is to start to incorporate functionality like that into the mod, where it'll be possible for you to say like, hey, my community likes playing Minecraft, but they also like playing like 7 Days to Die. Like, is there like cool like tidbits from one game that we can carry over to another game? Like, oh, maybe like for instance, my experience with like Valheim, I love exploring and I love building in Valheim, but the combat is ridiculous and sometimes it's a little too grindy to collect resources. So like maybe we could have a Minecraft server where we collect all of our like iron and resources. And that has the Wayward Words mod installed. So we collect all of our iron, we put it in a cache, and then we can open that cache up in Valheim, and we have like, oh, now we have access to the iron that we got here. So it's like the experience from one game can kind of cross over and enhance another game. So that's another kind of avenue that we're really excited to explore in the future. One of the struggles we've had is like a lot of games don't have direct equivalencies like Valheim, Terraria are convenient because they also have like the raw resource iron. But like what else is really commutable between worlds? It's hard to say, but that's a topic we'll be exploring. And as we continue to develop that, we're going to release other versions of mods for other games that help start tying these things together. Like, if we could add these maps in to Minecraft, and then like, maybe that would correspond to an artwork in another game that you could like place in your house in like Roblox or something. Or like your like achievements and like milestones and stuff. Like if we could make those some sort of like meaningful object that corresponds to other games, like that would be cool. And like ultimately, we don't know exactly how you would want your games to be wired up together. So we're going to have all of this sort of like configurable if and when we do kind of like figure out the killer thing. We want you to basically be able to say like, from my experience, I want to have like mobs whenever I beat them in Minecraft be kind of queued to spawn in Valheim or vice versa. Like maybe we could have a version of like a mob spawner that spawns games that players have killed from like other games in like interesting ways. So that's just some like fun conjecture, brainstorming, things that we'll get to one day. Do we have any other questions? Oh, tossing out a message bottle. Message in a bottle into the ocean, and it washes up on the shore in a different game. Yeah, that's like something we can like actually do. Because the beaches are relatively like uniform. If we go out over here, it's a shame that Minecraft doesn't actually have messages in a bottle. This is actually a fun idea. So, book. If we have a, if you get this message, leave another message, answering the question. And it'll be like, or we could say like, leave another message continuing the story or something. And so like, once upon a time, Yo Mikester 238 created a awesome Super Mario Sunshine map. But then story part 1. We put this here. And now that it's there, other people can find that and then potentially, add their own versions of the story to kind of collaborate. What will happen to Yo Mixer 238 in this world? His fate is up to you. Yeah, Stardew Valley would be great. It's another one that like the universes are similar enough where like we do have a lot of equivalencies and a lot of like concepts in Minecraft would make sense over there. And it's also with a lot of the recent additions, I think it has like good multiplayer support too. So definitely keep an eye out for updates from us. If Let me see if I can drop our Discord link in the chat if y'all are interested in following along. We have links to the mod and kind of like our blog and news sources all over the place. So, but mainly in our Discord. So if you join the Discord, that's the best way to kind of like stay in touch and follow along with our progress. But also feel free to check out our website, which is chimera.com. Not like traditionally spelled, but Kaimera. The idea there was we wanted to kind of fuse the concepts of like chimera, like encompassing like the earth, so like chimera and terra, and also something that was like a domain name that wasn't already taken. So cool stuff. If you guys have made or pulled down the mod or have tried it out already, definitely let us know what you think in the Discord or in the Twitch chat. Drop us a line. We'd love to hear feedback. And if you have ideas for things that you'd want to see in the mod, or like cool like games that you want to see integrated with next, definitely let us know. And we'll be streaming again soon. We definitely want to do more of these kinds of events with different kind of community members and awesome creators and streamers and stuff. So look forward to that. We'll be keeping up our Discord updated and other sources. Hopefully you'll see soon. Thanks again, Yo Mikester, for doing this awesome collaboration with us. And having everyone come to the server to participate in this event. Stay tuned. We'll be announcing the results of the competition in the Yo Mikester's Discord, which you could also drop in the chat. And then we'll be reaching out to each of the winners to officially start the kind of commission process. It'll take a little while for the builds to be finished, but they're going to be super awesome. Look forward to that, and look forward to more of this, and we'll see you guys soon. Cool. Thanks, guys. We got a Chimera logo fade out. Wah.